The population of Earth is 7 Arabs. A human body has 70,000 Arab cells. Every cell contains DNA. When the DNA is disturbed, the cell starts growing tremendously, resulting in terrible disease of cancer. The 200 types of cancers can manifest themselves at any point in life, which may lead to untimely death. Every year, 1.5 crore new people are diagnosed with cancer. The patients break down physically as well as financially. Modern homeopathy is the best way of treatment that can successfully control cancer. It can remove you from the clutches of cancer. Let us see how in the modern era of health. Modern homeopathy, the safety of life.
Hello, I'm Anushree Karandekar and I welcome you all in this special program of Modern Era of Health. The curative line of modern homeopathy has helped many patients lead a normal life. By using modern homeopathy, they have overcome these life-threatening diseases. And the credit for the same goes to the research of modern homeopathy and the efforts behind it. We are going to discuss about that, plus we have been discussing about cancer, a chronic disease, the symptoms, the diagnosis, and how modern homeopathy effectively treats this disease is what we will discuss even today. And to guide us today about this topic, we have with us CEO of Modern Homeopathy, Dr. Vijay Kumar Mani, sir. So welcome to the show.
Hello.
So like I just said, we were talking about cancer. And since last episode, we are discussing the topic in detail. Like we were noting that humans have many organs and the way or proportion in which the cancer spreads in these organs. So if we look into details, today we'll be discussing the cancer that manifests in the food pipe. And that is what I wanted to ask you first. What is esophageal cancer and how do tumors or other symptoms manifest themselves?
The food pipe, or in other words, esophagus, is what we call. The cancer tumor forms in the center of this food pipe.
Okay.
Generally 30 centimeters from incisor teeth is where this tumor is seen.
Oh.
This has two types, squamous cell carcinoma and the other is adenocarcinoma. So basically these are the two types that we can see in esophageal cancer.
Okay.
If we look into or study symptoms and reasons for this particular cancer, then in the reasons section we realize that addiction to tobacco is the major reason.
Okay.
Chewing the tobacco or holding it in the mouth and smoking habit, may it be cigarette or bidis, these form the main reasons when it comes to esophageal cancer.
Mainly.
The other reason may include smoke. The people who are constantly exposed to smoke or some chemicals, a constant exposure to those, these are the other reasons in esophageal cancer.
Okay. We just spoke about the reason. Now, if we look at the symptoms, what will you say? I mean, how do we understand that we may have esophageal cancer or we may be on the verge of having one?
Okay. Now, in all the symptoms of esophageal cancer, the main symptom is, which is known as dysphagia.
Okay.
Means trouble in swallowing. Dysphagia for solids, solid foods. Now rice and bhakri. Let's take the staple diet of Maharashtra. While eating such foods, having trouble in swallowing or swallowing it with great difficulty. This is the main symptom. Dysphagia for solids. And this always gets us thinking as to whether it is esophageal cancer or not.
Okay.
Secondly, as the disease starts progressing or increasing, we'll find that the patient is losing weight because the patient hardly eats due to dysphagia.
Yeah, true.
This is one symptom. And the third symptom is the pain. Generally, in chest area or what we call as the epigastric region, the region between the stomach and the chest or above navel, the extreme pain in this area also is one of the symptoms.
Okay. So these all are symptoms, but like you said earlier, that all types of cancer generally show fever as a symptom. Does that apply here too? In this type of cancer?
At times fever can be present. Fever is a common symptom. It's not necessarily there in cancer every time. It's a general symptom, can be present at times.
Oh yes. We had a look at the symptoms as well as the reasons. At such times, like you said, if these symptoms manifest themselves, then in such cases, what tests should a patient get done to get a confirmed diagnosis?
If we talk about tests for esophageal cancer, then the barium meal is the main test. You have barium meal and get an X-ray done. That also shows the cancer. The second test is CT scan.
Okay.
CT scan of chest will reveal the cancer. The third test is the biopsy.
Okay.
If we find a tumor in the CT scan, then the biopsy that is done using a scope, that also tells us. And the scopy that happens in the biopsy, which is known as ogiriscopy. Through ogiriscopy, we can determine the presence of esophageal cancer.
Okay.
These are the main tests through which we can diagnose the esophageal cancer more
it can
properly.
be done properly. If we look at this, like you said, the proportion of nicotine or the other reasons you stated for this cancer to develop. So is there any specific age group in which this type of cancer, esophageal cancer, is generally found?
Yeah, the specific age group for this type is middle age and late age.
Okay.
Which means post the age of 35 to say about 60 to 70 or 70 to 80 is the range of this cancer.
Okay.
Which is observed. This type of cancer can be found in both males and females.
When we mainly look at the reasons, like you mentioned earlier, I mean, if we change a few things, I want to say in terms of food, if we change our diet, then is it possible for us to avoid this type of cancer?
It is possible to certain extent, like we spoke in the last episode. In foreign countries, the proportion of non-veg diet is pretty
Yes.
large. They eat beef
Yes.
and pork too.
Yes.
The proportion of esophageal as well as rectal cancer, the cancer of rectum, both cancers are seen in large proportion.
Okay.
Now, if these people include vegetable diet and what we call fibrous diet, that is vegetables and fruits,
Okay.
more often in their daily intake, then the chances of this cancer can be diminished.
Oh, okay. We're talking about esophageal cancer, and you have also had such patients visiting you whom you have treated. We will hear about their experiences too, but now it's time for a break.
Give a missed call on the numbers displayed below for advice and guidance. 7038 833881 and 7038 833882.
Welcome you all to Modern Era of Health. Post this break, we are discussing about esophageal cancer. We will now listen to the experience of Meerabai Mehkare, a patient who fought this type of cancer.
My name is Meerabai Mehkare. I had trouble swallowing food. I had trouble drinking tea, eating food. To know why this was happening, I went to hospital in Amravati.
The doctor in that private hospital asked us to do a CT scan, and on his suggestion, we did the CT scan. But we did not find any evidence in the CT scan. So the doctor sent us to get an endoscopy done. We did the endoscopy, and the sir that was present there told us that the patient has an heating ulcer and it is about 22 centimeters long. We have removed a part of that ulcer and have sent it across for biopsy. When we got the reports 10 days after the biopsy, the report stated that the concerned patient has cancer, and they had also mentioned the dimensions of the same. 0.3 by 0.2 were the dimensions mentioned. Then I returned home. I was pretty shocked. After a long discussion, we decided to go for a second opinion. Then we did another endoscopy for second opinion in Nagpur. And after we did the endoscopy, they said that now the length of the heating ulcer is 23 centimeters. And the dimensions had changed to 0.6 by 0.3 by 0.2. The reports given by the doctors there had again diagnosed and confirmed the existence of cancer. So I again went to visit the cancer specialist there. No one was prescribing any medicines. All they wanted was for her bowel movements to be good. So they just gave a liquid for that. The doctor said that because your mother is 78 years old, we cannot operate on her, and chemotherapy is not advisable for her. You need radiation. But my friend Sanjay Bijagire, who is also my neighbor, his father had lip cancer and his father underwent the light treatment. He had then some complication in his stomach because of that, and he expired in 15 days. So he has suggested me not to go for lights but any other treatment. Then I turned towards Ayurvedic medicines. I went to Chhindwara and got a ton of medicines from there. But that did not help either. We kept it in darkness for around 4 days or so, but no use. We had to admit her in the local hospital immediately. Then we went to another Ayurvedic doctor, and in this treatment, we got a period of 10 to 15 days in hand. And during this period, I have a friend who told me that there is one doctor called Dr. Vijay Kumar Mane.
My son's friend suggested us and told us to consult and go to Dr. Mane. Once I started his treatment, I started feeling much better.
Once I got in touch with Dr. Mane, I came here. Sir called me here. He saw all the reports, and after seeing all the reports, he told me that this esophageal cancer is 100% curable, and I will do it. You just have to take medicines regularly. Okay was all I said. So we waited. Like the first time we gave her the medicine, in the first month it was almost a month and we did not have to admit her to any hospital. Same with the second month, and then I started feeling that there was something in this medicine.
The medicines helped me a lot. In a way, I could eat without any problem. I could do all my things on my own.
And so after 2 months, I got my mother here. She met Dr. Mani herself. Sir too asked her a few questions and she answered them all very well. Even Sir was happy. And I was way happier. To go to the hospitals every now and then, that atmosphere, it really unsettles me. But after I came here and we took Sir's treatment, I started feeling that all the cancer patients should meet Sir without fail and take this treatment. And homeopathy has 100% cure on cancer is what I can personally tell you.
Now I have no trouble swallowing tea or swallowing the food. I'm happy now. I don't have any problem at all. I hope everyone takes his treatment.
I would like to thank Dr. Vijay Kumar Mani sir. Because my mother is 78 years old. It's great to know that even a 78-year-old person can now fight off cancer with modern homeopathy. Visit Dr. Mani's clinic. Visit modern homeopathy. My best wishes to Dr. Mani, and I hope that you get touch others' lives with boon of long lives. And I pray to God that you too be blessed with long life.
You just saw the experience of Mirabai Mehekare, how she was unfortunately diagnosed with this and how she overcame it with modern homeopathy. We will know more about this from Sir himself, but before that, it's time for a break.
Give a missed call on the numbers displayed below for advice and guidance. 7038 833881 and 7038 833882.
I welcome you all in the special program of Modern Era of Health post this break. We heard and saw the experience of Mirabai Mehekare before going on the break. How did you accept her case as a challenge? I mean the cancer she was diagnosed with, the esophageal cancer, and specifically with her age. Looking at things,
Yes.
it was really hard. So how did you help her?
Let's first look at the treatments available for this illness. Conventional line of treatment mainly calls for radiation treatment.
Okay.
Second option is surgery. It is called as gastric pull surgery. Here the affected area in food pipe is removed, rather a bit more.
Okay.
And the stomach is pulled up during the surgery. That's called gastric pull surgery.
Okay.
And the third option is chemotherapy if they are unable to do radiation or the surgery. If the disease is increased, then chemotherapy is done.
Yeah, true.
Now in this case, we see that patient's age is 78.
Yes,
So she
yes.
was pretty old.
True.
At the time she was diagnosed, she could hardly swallow due to her illness. So she had a weight loss. So she could not undertake any treatment under the conventional line of treatment. It would have been unbearable for her.
True.
That was the reason she turned to us,
True,
to modern
true.
homeopathy. And like we saw, after she started our treatment, she could start swallowing in a few days' time.
Nice.
Today she eats food normally. So her main symptom, dysphagia for solids, has
True.
definitely reduced as she started our treatment.
If we look in this particular matter, like you said, she was pretty old. But in general, a patient is diagnosed with esophageal cancer and you're treating him too. But if he is having swallowing problems, do you suggest any dietary changes?
Yes, we do suggest some changes. People who have dysphagia for solids, means people who cannot eat solids, are suggested fluids or to grind their food in a mixer and then have it. Not only that, but we also suggest that even if you can start eating solids, have liquid diet for a few days. Secondly, we also suggest the patients to avoid non-vegetarian food. In non-vegetarian food, especially mutton and chicken, should avoid. You may have read or heard about another thing. The chicken you get in India is not good.
Low quality.
To accelerate growth of the chicken, hormones,
Hormonal injections. Yes.
steroids,
Oh.
and antibiotics are given liberally. So the chicken you get in India is not consumed elsewhere in the world. Hence we tell the patients not to have mutton as well as chicken. You should avoid it. If you want, you can have fish and eggs. And every single time compulsory you should consume liquid diet. That includes fruits and vegetables. Whatever you want to eat, blend it in a blender and then consume it.
Okay. In the conventional line of treatment, like you said, every option right from surgery is available. Now, if we have to differentiate, then how do you tell the audience the difference between our line of treatment and the conventional line of treatment?
Yeah. Before that, I would like to tell you something more. Actually, there are more symptoms about which I forgot to mention.
Okay.
Generally, when the disease aggravates, the food pipe as well as the organs surrounding it, like lungs, are affected by it.
Oh.
So, weight loss and vomiting of blood are other symptoms seen here.
Okay.
Now, let us compare the lines of treatment. In conventional line of treatment, like I mentioned earlier, you have radiation, chemotherapy and surgery as main treatments. According to homeopathic line of treatment, we have developed it in such a way that the patient can stay at home and follow the treatment without hospitalization, because this is a long-term therapy.
True.
They have to take medicine about a year or so.
Okay.
Now in such case, hospitalization is not a good option. It may get very expensive. So we have cut down that. So the patient is expected to stay home and follow the treatment.
Okay.
This is the first thing. Now when we take the medicines, the intake is through mouth only. We don't give any injectables at all. Actually, you don't have to swallow the medicines. You just have to keep it in your mouth after diluting with a spoonful of water. So that is also very easy for the patient. And thirdly, the frequency is also not too much. It's not like that. You have to take them forever.
Oh, okay,
and fourthly, there is not too much restrictions on diets. It's just what I told earlier. Now, some line of treatments, especially in Ayurvedic treatments, the restrictions itself makes the patient lose hope.
True.
I don't want to blame anybody, but it's a fact.
True.
On the other hand, we don't have any restrictions. Just that we know that these few things aggravate the disease, especially non-veg food or extreme hot food. These things should be avoided. And vegetarian or pure diet, what we say should be taken. So you should include more fruits and vegetables in your daily diet.
Okay.
Now, our medicines are easy to consume. Frequency is also less. And like I said, you will see improvement in symptoms of patient right in the first month of treatment.
Okay.
Now the symptom of illness. Let's take the dysphagia. It should reduce. The process of swallowing needs to be easier.
Yes.
Second thing, pains. In homeopathy, there are no painkillers available.
No, it's
so
not.
with our line of treatment, as the illness reduces, automatically so does pain as well as its symptoms reduces.
Sure. You really explained the difference well. I wanted to ask you, the experience we just heard right now, the lady was pretty old. So in times like these, options like surgery are unavailable for her, for the simple reasons that she might not be able to handle the stress of the surgery
Unbearable,
itself.
right.
But what usually happens is that when the age of the patient is less, they go for conventional medical treatment. And they turn to other line of treatment after they are tired of conventional treatments. Like then they turn to our modern homeopathy. And in times like these, their emotional state is generally not great. At such times, does it pose a challenge to you? I mean, like preparing them for this particular line of treatment.
They are emotionally disturbed. Most of the time, patient is not ready to trust on anything.
Exactly.
This is because in conventional line of treatment, you have huge hospitals and well-known doctors. Doctors who have degrees from foreign countries. People think that we went to such a big hospital and there we didn't get a good results from their treatment.
True.
Rather, the disease aggravated.
Exactly.
So now why would this line of treatment change anything? To convince the patient is a huge challenge. But today, we can proudly say that we do not face that challenge anymore.
Oh, okay.
Because even if any kind of patient walks in, we have already treated such patients. So we have something to show to the patient and say that we did this. And this treatment gave these positive changes. And this was the way this patient was treated. Basically, we have all patient data. We have their videos. But if they want more, we can pass on phone numbers and addresses of the patients.
Oh, nice.
We treated such and such patient for a similar cause and such as the improvement are seen post so many months of treatment. So today, convincing a patient is not a huge deal for us.
True.
Patients get convinced. And right from the first month of treatment, the patient realizes that there are positive results due to treatment of modern homeopathy. The symptoms one has also reduced drastically.
In a chronic disease like cancer, we have stages in it, from first stage to last stage, and a person is fighting the disease throughout. Now what you have is an OPD style of working, OPD medical treatment. Now with the patient who has reached last stage, does your line of treatment still work as effectively, especially when the pain has already crossed the threshold?
Yes, our line of treatment works just as efficiently. We had such a patient with esophageal cancer itself. She could not even drink water.
Exactly.
She had taken radiation 3-4 years back. Rather, 3 years back, After that, her disease aggravated. The second time the cancer showed up, it was so bad that she could not even drink water. But with our treatment, she started drinking water in 15 days.
True.
Milk. I meant she started drinking milk.
Sure. We spoke about esophageal cancer today. Like I said, there are n number of cancers and we want to know about them all. And you have researched every single one of them and hence the reason for the positive outcomes. We'll keep talking to you about all this later. But for today, thank you.
Thank you.
Let's call it a day in today's special program of New Era of Health. We shall continue discussing cancer in our next episodes too. Thank you.
Give a missed call on the numbers displayed below for advice and guidance. 7038-833881 and 7038-833882. For counseling and guidance regarding modern homeopathy, contact our centers at Dadar, Karwa, Dhankavdi, Pimpri-Chinchwad, Mapsa, Madgaon, Nashik, Aurangabad, Kolhapur, Nanded, Nagpur and Solapur. Contact numbers 9730-339-009 and 9372-728-009. Toll-free number 1800-121-8009. Website modernhomeopathy.co.in. Email ID info@modernhomeopathy.co.in and modernhomeopathy8009@gmail.com.